Call at 235-7534.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Carencro Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Louisiana Raging Cajuns baseball team season came to an end in the Starkville Regional on Sunday. After losing 12-2 in their opening matchup on Friday, the Vermilion and White took down Lipscomb in Cincinnati before losing their final game of the season 19-5 to the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Louisiana Raging Cajuns senior golf standout Milan Pock-Eater's run at the NCAA Division I Men's Golf Championships came to an end on Sunday after he missed the cut for Monday's final round by one stroke. North Vermilion and LSUE graduate Tyson LeBlanc had a monster weekend for the Kansas Jayhawks. In the Lawrence Regional, LeBlanc went 2 for 4 from the plate on Sunday to help his team advance to the Super Regionals. The Houston Astros lost 2 out of 3 at home versus the Milwaukee Brewers this past weekend. They'll be back tonight to start a series at home versus Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates. First pitch from Dyken Park is scheduled for 7:10, and you can listen to the action on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. In the NBA playoffs, the finals are now set after the San Antonio Spurs won Game 6 and 7 against the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. Game 1 of the finals between the Spurs and Knicks will be on Wednesday. And Russell Henley won the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth, Texas on Sunday, edging out Eric Cole in a playoff. I'm James Meche, and this has been your 2-minute drill on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana Sports Station, your home for the LSU Tigers and Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. Dynamic duos are nothing new to Louisiana sports fans. Breeze and Colston, Burrow and Chase. And here in Acadiana, we have our very own dynamic duo.
You're beautiful.
It's the big, bald, bearded, and beautiful one, Raymond Parch III.
I'm sexy and I know it.
And the man with the best head of hair in sports talk radio in Louisiana and Mississippi, James Meche. Here is RP3 and Meche on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Good day to you and yours. I'm Raymond Parch III, better known as the big, bald, beautiful one. And we're broadcasting live from lovely downtown Jackson, Mississippi, as we are trying to make our way home from Stark, Vegas for the Starkville Regional. And back inside the Beal and Bear studios is the producer extraordinaire, the man with the best trash stash in sports media in the states of Louisiana and Mississippi, which I can now confirm for sure, and a man who took a step in a big direction this past weekend to becoming a Yogurt U champion, James Meche. Good day, sir.
Happy Monday, Raymond.
I am doing tremendous. We will be home later this afternoon, and we got plenty to get to. But before we dive into all the great sports talk that we're going to have for the next 2 hours here on this Monday edition of RP3 and Meche, I know you were slightly disappointed about how you fared over the weekend, but I think you deserve to give yourself a little bit of credit. If you remember, back on Friday, before we had the super busy weekend that we did, our guy, James Meche, was planning on going out of town to the great metropolis of Houston, Texas. Not to watch the Houston Astros play, not to maybe catch some Houston Gamblers action, a little UFL. No. Our guy was going for a Yogurt U tournament, and you placed 66 out of 271 at the tournament. I know you wanted to be in the top 32 to receive a big invite, but 66 out of 271, that is, what, top third at least of all the competitors there, and I think it's a great step in the right direction, buddy. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of an applause there for a job well done for your first tournament of the year.
Thank you. It was, I mean, if you do the percentages, like 77th percentile, which isn't bad. I just think with my performance, I think I left some stuff out there. Realized that there was some deck building errors that I can try to capitalize on for this weekend.
There you go, buddy. So now you're going to be going to Mobile this coming weekend to build off the great momentum that you had in your first weekend tournament of the year. So wanted to make sure to give a big shout out to James for that. We got plenty to get to. First hour, we're going to be broadcasting live from here in Jackson, Mississippi. It's where we landed after leaving Starkville around midnight last night after a very, very, very long game there at the Starkville Regional. This is what we got lined up for you on this edition of RP3 and Meche, though. Coming up half an hour, we're going to be talking NCAA regional baseball with our friend Mark Etheridge of D1Baseball.com. He's a senior writer. He was in Starkville with yours truly. So we'll talk about that regional. We'll give you a recap on that and then look at the other craziness that's going on. Kansas advances to their first ever super regional. Cal Poly and advances to their first ever super regional. So does Little Rock, right? UCLA, the number 1 seed, loses. It's been nothing but a lot of chaos involved this year. So we'll recap it all with Mark Etheridge coming up at 11:30. That'll be about half an hour from right now. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Western Conference Finals. Got to be able to watch that over the weekend as well. Didn't think Oklahoma City would lose at home, but Wemby and the Spurs own SGA and Chet Holmgren and the Oklahoma City Thunder. I saw a crazy stat, James, where they lost 8 times to San Antonio during the regular season and the postseason. They lost a total of 14 times to everybody else. Like, it's in professional sports, we know this. Sometimes a team, an organization, or a player has your number. And the way the Spurs are built, with having high draft pick after like 5 years of being awful, they have accumulated a team now that they have this great core, and they have a guy that's an alien, and they look just like they're built for years to come. And would have been different maybe if J-Dub is playing in this series. Obviously, it'd probably look a lot different. But then you could also play the what if scenario. What if Tyrese Halliburton didn't get hurt last year? Would Oklahoma City won that world championship? Right. So there's a lot of, we can always play the what if game, but San Antonio moves on and they're going to be taking on a Knicks team that's going to be very rested. What's interesting is that at the age of 22, Tim Duncan had his first playoff run, and he beat the Blazers and he beat the T-Wolves. And then he vanquished a rival big man in the Western Conference Finals, a rival of his, and then would go on to play the New York Knicks in the 1999 NBA Finals. And here we are in the San Antonio with Wemby at 22 years old in his first playoff run. They beat the Trailblazers, they beat the Timberwolves. He vanquished his big man rival as well in the conference finals, and now they play the Knicks in the NBA Finals. So we'll see what happens there. Not to mention, Jalen Brunson's daddy was on the New York Knicks team in 1999 that played in the finals as well. So lots of interesting things going on there. So you also have the Women's College World Series. We are down to 4 teams. Not a lot of surprises, right? That there's going to be Alabama and Texas Tech, right? And the teams that are there. UCLA gets bounced. What is interesting is that all the drama involving Texas Tech is continued on from last year when they got the reputation of being, well, first of all, the Texas Tech Red Cajuns, because of all the players and the head coach that they poached away from Louisiana. And they make it all the way to the national championship, finishes runner-up, but they quickly become the villains because of how they're buying players out of the transfer portal, and they bought a coach from Lafayette. And then we have this whole thing where in the handshake line afterwards, when the Texas Tech players that was at Tennessee last year, James, says that her former coach said that you made a mistake. She says this at the press conference, and then Tennessee coach is like, that's not what I said at all. That's a flat out lie. And then ESPN has to get audio and video involved, proving that maybe the Texas Tech player lied. Just so much drama
Oh,
for
man.
for for the softball there in Oklahoma City. So busy weekend, and we're going to try to get to it all as well. We're also going to talk Houston Astros with Brett Chansey in hour number 2. That'll be at 12:30. We'll also have some post game audio to share from you from Matt Deggs and company as their season comes to an end. But let's go ahead and get started on this special Monday road trip edition of RP3 and Meche. Let's get started with today's specials.
The fellas can't help with your lunch plans, but they can serve up the top stories of the day in bite-sized pieces. Time to order up today's specials here on RP3 and Meche, presented by Southwest Volkswagen, located at 6184 Johnston Street. Order up.
And the special for today is the Louisiana Raging Cajuns season coming to an end. If we would have told you 3 weeks ago that this team would make it to a regional final against a team out of the SEC that has a rich history and has a national championship on the resume, any Louisiana Raging Cajun fan would have taken that. And we should give credit where credit is due because this is a team that started off strong, then dealt with some injuries, dealt with some losses. Don't forget they were swept by Texas State. Didn't appear like they were going to be a contender in the Sun Belt Conference down the stretch. Not many people gave them a chance to make a run in the Sun Belt Conference tournament, and this was just 3-4 weeks ago that a lot of people felt that way. They felt that this is a team that may not even make the conference tournament because of all the tiebreakers and whatnot. And give credit where credit is due, because this team is, as I've said before, a reflection of its head coach. They're tough, they play hard, and they scrap and fight every time they get onto a baseball field. They may not be the best team, they may not have the most talent, and that was proven last night against Mississippi State. The Bulldogs are obviously a more talented team. They were also more rested, and they had more pitching. But to do what this team was able to do, take 2 or 3 on the road at App, win 2 or 3 against national runner-up Coastal Carolina, get to the Sun Belt tournament. They have to play the one of the early days because of the stupid tie-breaking rules. They mercy rule Marshall. They beat Coastal again. They lose to Texas State, who had been their Achilles heel this year. Then they have to go beat Coastal yet again. Then they beat Texas State twice, and they make it all the way to the Sun Belt Conference championship game, which they lose to Southern Miss. And here they are. They earn a spot, an at-large berth to an NCAA regional. They make their way to Starkville, who, by the way, led the attendance, I want to say, every day of the regional weekend. Every day attendance was led by Stark Vegas there at the Dude. And they go in there, and they get crushed by Cincinnati in game 1. Just absolutely mollywopped. But they didn't give up. And that's what I talk about when I talk about this Matt Deggs-led team, this program, is that they never give up. Every time they have something that happens to them that is embarrassing, that it feels like a step back, they find a way to fight back. They did it during the regular season when they lost inexplicably at home to, let's be honest, an average, at best, mediocre UNO team. They got embarrassed at home. And then they turned it around. And that's exactly what happened this past weekend in Starkville. And by the way, the folks in Starkville, very hospitable. I believe Stark Vegas gets a bad rap. Kevin and I were talking about this a lot. The food was excellent at the places that we went numerous times. The little town has some historic charm to it. It's small. You're in the country. But I think it gets a bad rap. I found Starkville, my first time being there, extremely nice. Their facilities are very nice, and the people were even better. And the food was good as well. But I digress. So they come back on Saturday in an elimination game, and they get the job done. And then they say, okay, we're alive. They eliminate Linscomb. And now they get a chance to take down the team that embarrassed them back on Friday, the Cincinnati Bearcats. And we talked about them. Matt Diggs said after the Friday game that Cincinnati's catcher, Jack Natalie, who looks like an outside linebacker, that's how he's built, their big catcher, said that kid looks like a Major League Baseball all-star catcher. And you get a chance to go after them again, and you get the job done. You get the job done. It wasn't the prettiest game, but you win. You survive and advance in hot temperatures, and now you have to play 2 games in 1 day. So you continue your streak of now this being, I want to say, the 14th consecutive NCAA regional appearance where the Cajuns have at least won 1 game. The last time they went 0-2 in an NCAA regional was way back in 1998. That was before you were born, James.
That is correct.
So, and the other thing that happened on Saturday that Matt Diggs was so proud of is that they got to 40 wins. So they get to 40 wins. They win a game in the NCAA regional play yet again. They beat Cincinnati, who beat them up on Friday, to advance to a regional final for the second time in 3 years and the 11th time overall in program history. And what happened is very simple. We could wax poetically about it, and they ran into a better team, a better rested team, and they ran out of pitching. Like, they threw 9 guys last night. Now, it got to the point where Matt Diggs was getting guys in there to get playing time so they could have regional experience underneath their belt, because this is a young team. Lots of impact players that are freshmen and sophomores. But even in this game, which got away from them, because Mississippi State in that ballpark and the dude just cranking home runs left and right, they kept clawing, they kept fighting, they kept putting runners on the base paths, and they came up short. But if you're a Raging Cajun fan today, you got to feel great about your program. And I've said this over and over again, James. Matt Diggs is the right man for the job. He understands what this program means to the Acadiana community. He was an assistant coach here. Tony Robichaux not only saved his career, but saved his life. He is forever indebted to him in this community. He came here in a difficult circumstance when a beloved icon passed away suddenly. I mean, they unveiled the Tony Robichaux statue for Matt Diggs' first game. Imagine that. Like, you're coming here to take over from a mentor who helped save your career and your life. Oh, and he passed away, and you're dealing with all that emotion. Oh, and on top of it, we're honoring him by having a statue unveiling for the very first game of the season when you're taking over for that man. Then COVID happens, and the season gets thrown out the window. But in spite of that, he's had this team competing 40 wins, Sun Belt Conference championships, making it to NCAA regionals. If they can keep this young core together, and that's a big what if in this time of day where money is rampant and NIL plays a huge role and guys get offered stupid money, but their best players are their young bucks. If they can keep this core together, I truly believe, and I echo what Matt Diggs said last night in the post-game press conference, where he feels like if they can keep this together and be healthy, that they should be hosting an NCAA regional in 2027.
I could easily see that because, I mean, if you're able to keep Colt at catcher, if you're able to keep Blaze Rodriguez at shortstop, and once you get Rigoberto back, because remember, I mean, for this final stretch of the season, Rigoberto had been injured and was out for the season. So the fact that he would be healthy for you next year as well, I mean, that's just extra firepower, plus the year of them going into their sophomore years and having added experience and being able to get guys from the portal and high school ranks as well. I mean, this just feels like this could be a really good season if you can keep about as much of this team as possible.
40 wins, advance to the Sun Belt Conference championship game, advance to the regional final. That's nothing to hang your head about. And it feels like after last year's transitional year, with some guys left the program to go elsewhere, whether it's for playing time, or they didn't like playing for Coach Deggs, or they had more money, NIL, whatever it might have been. Last year was a transitional year. That was the dip. And it happens in programs like this. It happened to Tony, by the way. Tony would go years without making NCAA regional. Matt Deggs is the right man for the job. The right man for the job. We got to take a timeout. When we come back, we will unveil our poll question of the day here on this special road trip edition of RP3 and Meche.
Today's specials here on RP3 and Mesh, presented by Southwest Volkswagen, located at 6184 Johnston Street.
Southwest Volkswagen, it's where car buying is made easy. Upfront everyday pricing and transparency from start to finish. Massive inventory of both new and used cars. And when I'm saying used cars, I mean World Auto certified pre-owned cars and SUVs. Southwest Volkswagen has the great selection that you and your family have been looking for. They're proud to be Acadiana's only Volkswagen dealership, and they're just a short drive from Lake Charles as well. Just hop on I-10, make your way over. You will not regret it. Once again, buying your next car feels simple at Southwest Volkswagen right here in Lafayette. Go visit them today at 6184 Johnston Street right here in Lafayette.
From Tiger Stadium to the Texas state line, ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles is your home for live and local sports talk in Southwest Louisiana. We're your official home for the LSU Tigers and Houston Astros. ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles also tackles the latest involving the Louisiana Raging Cajuns, McNeese Cowboys, and New Orleans Saints. So keep it locked right here. ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Looking for your next firearm? Come visit Louisiana Gun Shop in Broussard. We've got financing options, 12 months same as cash, plus layaways up to 90 days. With a wide selection of new and used guns, we've got something for every budget, big or small. Have an old gun collecting dust? Trade it in or turn it into cash. Need parts? We've got the largest selection of AR-15 components in the area, from springs to grips and buttstocks. Explore our ever-changing used inventory online at LouisianaGunShop.com. Louisiana Gun Shop, your one-stop shop for firearms and more.
Need peace of mind with your estate planning? Turn to Beal & Aber, your trusted hometown lawyers. At Beal & Aber, we make estate planning simple and stress-free, ensuring your legacy is secure and your future is in the right hands. Don't wait. Schedule your consultation today at BealAbear.com. That's BealAbear.com. Safeguarding your tomorrow today.
We are the soldiers of the Louisiana Army National Guard. We are your neighbors. We are your sons and daughters. While we serve part-time, we are learning valuable life and job skills. We are earning money for college, for trade and technical schools, and for certification. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state. We are your Louisiana Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard. Aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Oh, look who's here.
Everybody Loves Raymond is on MeTV.
Who told you that?
Raymond!
America's #1 classic TV network.
Nothing even comes close.
Enjoy 2 back-to-back episodes every weeknight.
We're doing it twice.
Watch Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, it's all about you, Raymond.
Weeknights starting at 8 on MeTV.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
We are Lions International, the world's largest service organization. We are volunteers committed to strengthening our communities and supporting those in need, one act of kindness at a time. For more than a century, Lions have been serving a world in need, right here in our community and around the world. Lions International makes the impossible possible. This is your invitation to join us, because the only thing missing from our mission to make a difference is you. Visit lionsclubs.org to find a local Lions Club near you.
One enjoys eating hot dogs and watching baseball. The other loves eating sushi and playing yogurt U-card games. Not sure exactly what that is, but good for him, I guess. Anyway, back to more RP3 and Mesh.
Oh, welcome back into this special road trip edition of RP3 and Mesh. As we're broadcasting from downtown Jackson, we decided to travel to Jackson to make our trip today a little bit shorter, James. We didn't leave the ballpark until 11:45, maybe
That's
maybe
prime
a little
time.
bit. That game, man, that final game, Cajuns kept scrapping. They kept doing pitching changes. That game just dragged on, and then we went to the post-game presser, of course, and then by the time we got on the road, it was already made a quick stop at a fast food establishment that was open. They didn't have much of anything, but we did put something in our did put something in our bellies, and we got here to Jackson, I do believe, around 2:30 in the morning, 2:30, 2:40, and we crashed, and we got a couple hours of sleep, and made our trip to come home a little bit easier today, if so to speak. So. But we do have a poll question of the day, sir. Can you go ahead and unveil it? And let's go ahead and share some comments while we have a few minutes here.
Absolutely. For our poll question of the day, we had asked you on Facebook and on X, did the Cajuns meet your expectations in the Starkville Regional? Not for the season as a whole, just for the Starkville Regional. It was either a yes or no question. I didn't allow anybody to say don't care. So really, it was just straightforward. All of the votes so far, from what I've seen, has been positive and said yes, that they did meet their expectation from being a 3 seed, being able to go toe-to-toe with the regional host and play them in the championship series. I mean, you can't be too mad at it, especially when you get to that 40th win. You're asking for the comments. JBK says yes on a realistic expectations, no on the hopes. But after that midseason 13 to 14 game stretch and then being in 7th place at the end of the regular season, it was a great job of circling the wagons and making a run.
Well, I would agree with that. I just think, look, your expectation is you're the 3 seed. And so the betting odds are against you automatically. Would you have liked the regional to have started off in a more competitive manner? Yes. Kevin and I were talking about this, that the game that we saw early on Sunday between Louisiana and Cincinnati was probably the game we thought we were going to see
On Friday.
back on Friday.
Yeah.
Right. But we didn't. But at the end of the day, you won 2 games, right? You eliminated 2 other teams. You avenged your first day loss of the regional, and you get to play the regional host on the regional final and you did that for the second time in 3 years. I think it's an overwhelming success, especially considering that no team in the country played more games this season than the Louisiana Raging Cajuns. They played more actual games, I think, by 4 or 5 than any team in the country. So tired, right? They had to play 7 games in 6 days at the conference tournament last week, and then they're having to turn around and play 4 games in 3 days. They just ran out of pitching. They ran out of gas. Played more games than anybody else coming off the conference tournament where they had to play all those games in so many days. Obviously, they ran into a better team on rest that had plenty of pitching. They just ran out of gas. But knowing that and seeing what they were able to do and getting to a regional final against the host team, there's no other way to answer this question. It's obviously it was a great success.
Yeah, and I would point towards that as well. Yeah, you would have liked to seen the Friday game be more competitive, even if it was a loss, because losing 12-2, definitely not the greatest start, especially when you have to come back the next day and next morning and play Lipscomb. But I mean, they bounced back in a big time way, got the win over them, and then got their revenge against the Bearcats to set themselves up for later on Sunday night when they take on Mississippi State. But by that point, I mean, with the amount of games that they played and the injuries that they had started to pile up, it just became too much, especially when you're playing against. Look, we wanted to try and give as many opportunities and steer it in a certain direction to say that the Cajuns were at a chance, which I still think they did. But once again, I mean, Mississippi State was a regional host for a reason, and we saw that on Sunday and throughout the whole tournament where they didn't lose a game.
Correct. They swept through. So, and it feels like, once again, you have a young team where the majority of your best players, James, the majority of your best players are youngsters, right? Blaze is young. Noah is young. Colt Brown is young. Donovan LaSalle is young. Mark Collins. These are all guys that are sophomores or freshmen. If you can keep them, keep that unit intact, maybe go add some more pitching, this is a team that could easily be ranked in the top 25 and be in play for a regional host next season. Keep those votes coming on our poll question of the day. Keep leaving your comments on Facebook and on X, and we'll get to them. But right now, we got to take a timeout. When we come back, our first guest today, Mark Etheridge of D1Baseball.com, senior writer. We're going to talk Starkville Regional and the regionals as a whole. We have six matchups today in winner-take-all scenarios. So we'll break it all down. That's next.
This is RP3 and Meche live on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
After further review, we'll be hitting the road and setting up shop this Thursday at Walk-Ons in Lake Charles. Matt Moscona will be broadcasting his LAB award-winning show live at Walk-Ons on 5313 Common Street from 3 to 6 p.m. this Thursday. Food and drinks will be provided, so make sure to swing by and come hang out with Matt Moscona for After Further Review this Thursday at Walk-Ons in Lafayette.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Louisiana Raging Cajuns baseball team season came to an end in the Starkville Regional on Sunday. After losing 12-2 in their opening matchup on Friday, the Vermilion and White took down Lipscomb in Cincinnati before losing their final game of the season 19-5 to the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Louisiana Raging Cajuns senior golf standout Milan Pock-Eater's run at the NCAA Division I Men's Golf Championships came to an end on Sunday after he missed the cut for Monday's final round by 1 stroke. North Vermilion and LSUE graduate Tyson LeBlanc had a monster weekend for the Kansas Jayhawks. In the Lawrence Regional, LeBlanc went 2 for 4 from the plate on Sunday to help his team advance to the Super Regionals. The Houston Astros lost 2 out of 3 at home versus the Milwaukee Brewers this past weekend. They'll be back tonight to start a series at home versus Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates. First pitch from Dyken Park is scheduled for 7:10, and you can listen to the action on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. In the NBA playoffs, the finals are now set after the San Antonio Spurs won Game 6 and 7 against the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. Game 1 of the finals between the Spurs and Knicks will be on Wednesday. And Russell Henley won the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth, Texas on Sunday, edging out Eric Cole in a playoff. I'm James Meche, and this has been your 2-minute drill on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana sports station, your home for the LSU Tigers and Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit B1Bank.com to find a location near you. ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Row coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
Looking for a spotless workplace? Variety Janitorial Services is your go-to. For office cleaning to stripping and floor waxing and carpet cleaning, your commercial space will look its best. Their reputation for perfection has grown throughout the entire Acadiana community. They deliver top-notch service with a commitment to excellence. Daily, weekly, or deep cleaning, trust the experts. Visit varietyjan.com today or call 337-298-8704 for a free quote. Variety Janitorial Services. We clean, you shine.
We are the soldiers of the Louisiana Army National Guard. We are your neighbors. We are your sons and daughters. While we serve part-time, we are learning valuable life and job skills. We are earning money for college, for trade and technical schools, and for certifications. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state. We are your Louisiana Army National Guard.
Sponsored by the Louisiana Army National Guard. Aired by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Every weeknight, MeTV has your laugh therapy.
To chase away the blues or the olive drabs.
With 2 hours of MASH at 5.
This guy's ankle has tickled my funny bone.
Followed by the Andy Griffith Show at 7.
Doggone it, Otis. You're supposed to be hugging me when I'm arresting you.
But he likes you, Bart.
Weeknights on MeTV.
Watch Meet TV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
What is dementia? Is it the same as Alzheimer's? What is vascular dementia, Lewy body, FTD, TBI, and CTE? If someone has memory loss, does that mean they have dementia? Millions of Americans ask these questions every day. I did too, and I learned. My wife Ginny developed dementia. I didn't know what to do or what was coming next. I'm Kevin Jameson, volunteer and president of the Dementia Society of America. I'm excited to offer you a free guide to understanding dementia. It's filled with facts about dementia, care planning, how doctors can help, and ways to keep your brain as healthy as possible. The Dementia Society of America is a national nonprofit, and we're ready to answer your questions. You want to live life to the fullest. I know that. Ginny did too, and I'm confident that we can help. Get your copy of the guide. Go to 1-800-DEMENTIA.org or call 1-800-DEMENTIA. Thank you.
This is ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, broadcasting live from the Beal and Hebert studios in Upper Lafayette. Beal and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers. Back to more of Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
It was a heck of a weekend in Starkville, Mississippi for the Starkville Regional, and it was a heck of a weekend for the NCAA Regionals altogether. To break down a chaotic and wildly entertaining opening to the NCAA postseason for college baseball, we're going to welcome on D1Baseball.com senior writer Mark Etheridge joins us now. Mark, thank you for making the time, brother. How are you?
I'm tired. Those were some late nights in Starkville.
Yeah, yes, it was. We made the decision to try to cut our trip down a little bit, so we made our way to Jackson. Got here about 2:45 in the morning, so we got a little bit of sleep, and then we'll make the rest of our trip home. So let's start there. I want to talk about the team that won, and that was Mississippi State. They were very convincing. In all of their games, they sweep their own regional. The pitching looks like it's coming into form. Maybe some questions about the bullpen, but they got some guys that can hit. Just give me your thoughts about the Bulldogs and just how impressed you were by them.
Yeah, they won big, and all of those games could have been by more. I mean, it was just their offense made that park play really small. It had three really strong starts. I agree the bullpen was not up to standards, but I mean, just judging by the offense around the country this weekend, a lot of teams didn't get those kind of starts that Mississippi State had. They're playing really well, and it's not an easy draw. They're going to the SEC double champs. They got to play Georgia, who's already beat Mississippi State 4 times. But Mississippi State's playing so well, though. I think it's kind of a shame those two teams are going to clash in the Supers, because they might be playing as well as maybe the top 5 teams in the country.
Georgia looks extremely good as well, and that's going to be a super regional matchup, Mississippi State versus Georgia. I want to talk about the Bulldogs because they had a player that gets ejected from the game, and then his skipper gets ejected as well. And it was a day and a weekend of this. And we've been seeing this build up for a while with excessive bat flips. We had the one earlier over the weekend with the Arizona State player, the Big 12 player of the year, maybe the best player in college baseball, Golden Spikes guy, get ejected as well. Just give me your thoughts as someone who covers this sport. What do we need to do to resolve this? Should we have the officiating crews have the ability just to be able to toss guys like this, or do you think we should put in at least one warning, like, hey, I know you're excited, but you get one warning, and if you do it again, you're going to be ejected, or if another guy on your team does it, they're going to be ejected because there's been a lot of conversation this weekend, a great weekend it was, but some of it has been negative about these excessive celebrations and the ejections that have followed them.
Yeah, it's complicated because really the ejection, it's the warning and the ejection are the only two cards the umpire has to play. Right? There's not a 15-yard penalty. Right? So it is challenging. I do think that we have allowed so much of, with the home run celebration that now it's like players feel carte blanche to do whatever they want, right? Like there's no boundary at all. And I do think there needs to, everything in excess is a problem. So there needs to be a line somewhere that it needs to be established. And I do think anything done towards the opponent is crossing the line. If you're celebrating with your teammates, if you're celebrating, even alone, I think we all can, get on board with that. It's the taunting or the appearance of taunting, which is apparently what started the deal with Trey Phelps. And I understand Wes Johnson's got to come out and try to protect his player, and that he gets ejected as well. But Phelps his absence will be felt because he's got to sit out the first game of the Super Regionals, and that's a Mississippi State team where Georgia would like to have all of their bullets, right? Because State's playing really well. The Landon Harrison deal, he took a questionable third strike and then, flipped his bat over his head because he didn't like the call. I mean, again, it's what's the limit? What do you allow? Certainly. The other part of that is it did look like a missed call, and maybe the ABS that the SEC experimented with in Hoover, maybe you can do that for the postseason next year. I don't know if every ballpark can accommodate it, but it's certainly worth worth consideration because I do think that would have, mitigated his frustration if he could have just tapped his helmet and got the call overturned.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like something needs to be done, and it feels like as a culture we allow the excessive celebrations, and we just can't have it both ways, right? Like we can't say, well, there needs to be rules, and then we say, well, you just, you're being a buzzkill for the kids, and it's like, well, I'm old enough to remember if I flipped my bat in the air, I would be getting a mouthful and an earful from my coach and then my dad. So I'm maybe I'm an old man yelling at the clouds there, Mark. I don't know. It's just
it's a new world, no doubt.
It is a new world. All right, so I want to talk about it being a new world because we could talk about some of the teams we expected to make it to the Supers, even though Alabama making it, they haven't done so in so long. So that's a nice story. Texas, Oregon, we thought would get there. North Carolina, we thought would get there. But I talk about the teams that we did not believe would get there. And we have UCLA get stunned as the number one overall seed. Once again, the kiss of death for the NCAA baseball tournament. You get the number one overall seed. You don't want that because it hasn't seemingly worked out for the better part of 20 plus years. But Cal Poly wins that regional, sweeps through it, and they are advancing to their first ever super regional. Just talk about just how historic UCLA being upset and Cal Poly winning in the same regional.
Well, the UCLA thing is fascinating because it was just sort of an afterthought that they were just going to roll through and play for the title, if not win it. They returned 8 starters from last year's College World Series team. The one that they lost, they upgraded through the portal, picking up Will Gasparino from Texas, who had a monster year. They had tons of pitching back. They added the highest drafted high school player. They added a Friday night starter out of the portal. They upgraded everywhere. And through the whole season, they were super consistent. They did not lose a weekend all year. They were wire to wire number one team in the nation. I mean, who does that, right? This is baseball, the most random of sports, as we saw this weekend. But their best pitcher, Logan Redeman, he hasn't pitched since April. And as a result, I think they're related. The last few weeks, they've had some scares. They've had to do some comebacks and had some clutch moments. But when you depend on those kind of comebacks time after time after time, it's so hard to rely on that. And St. Mary's got them twice. St. Mary's the 4 seed, and UCLA's done. And that's obviously the most shocking part of the tournament. But the other part is the success that the 4 seeds have had. I alluded to St. Mary's, but Little Rock won the Hattiesburg Regional. St. John's is in the winner's bracket in Tallahassee. I mean, this is really unprecedented. We usually see 1 or 2. I mean, Murray State made it to Omaha last year, but it's just with what's going on this year, I do think the sport is flattened, and there's opportunities throughout, as with smaller roster sizes, with the transfer portal, with the smaller drafts, so that there's actually just more talent in the college game. There's just more to go around, and I think that's part of what we're seeing. And the other thing is a lot of these these 4 seeds are older players, right? They've just got more experience, and they're able to handle the pressure of the postseason maybe better than some of the more talented teams that may not have that experience.
We're talking with Mark Etheridge, D1Baseball.com senior writer. He joins us here on RP3 and Meche. I want to talk about the Kansas Jayhawks, and we have a local connection because Tyson LeBlanc went to North Vermilion High School in the area, and then, of course, he started his college career at LSU Eunice, which is just in a neighboring parish, so we've known him for a long time. He was named the most outstanding player for the Jayhawks as they win a regional for the first time ever. They're going to the Supers. A lot of people had that being the trendy upset pick because Arkansas felt like they were slighted and that the Razorbacks were going to go show everyone and they were going to go in there as a 2 seed and take down an undeserving Jayhawks team. And Kansas proved not only did it belong in the conversation of hosting, but here they are, and they're in the Super Regionals.
Yeah, what an amazing story. First-time host, Dan Fitzgerald has just come in and transformed that program, taking a bunch of transfer players, older players, and kind of guys that other people overlooked. And they've been able to they were double champions in the Big 12, winning the regular season and the conference tournament. And I don't think they got a favorable draw. Arkansas was playing really well down the stretch. And not only they were able to beat Hunter Dietz in the 1-0 game on Saturday night, who's one of the top pitchers in the conference in the SEC. I mean, I think he struck out 14, but they got their licks against him. And then yesterday they put up a big number in the regional final. So, yeah, I mean, Kansas is one of the best stories in the sport right now. They would draw the winner of the Atlanta regional, and that's still ongoing. You've got Georgia Tech, who's the best offense in the country, certainly there with Georgia, and they're playing an Oklahoma team. Wouldn't that be something? Old Big 8 rivals getting after it if Oklahoma and Kansas were to match up. But yeah, you're right. Kansas has been. They were certainly a team that we had as one of the least likely to advance through the regional because of drawing Arkansas, because of being a first-time host, because of just a lack of pedigree. But they proved everyone wrong and really impressed this weekend.
What do you make of this tidbit of information that we now have? It's for the first time in the Super Regional era since 1999. All 8 teams from the previous College World Series failed to reach the Super Regionals. Arizona, LSU, Murray State, and Louisville all missed the tournament. Coastal, your national runner-up, went 0-2. Oklahoma State and Arkansas made it to the regional finals, and then UCLA went 1-2 in their regional. And in addition to that, Mark, we've had so many of our national champions that have come from the SEC the next year be dreadful. What do we make of this era now in college baseball? Do we feel like it's just NIL and the transfer portal has made it be filled with so much parity, or has this always been kind of the case and we just haven't really been paying attention?
Well, there's more roster volatility than ever before. I mean, the freedom of movement to allow players to transfer without sitting out. you don't know who's going to be on your team from year to year. And I do think that plays a big part in it. I think the timing of the draft, of the smaller rosters, of certainly the portal movement during the summer, all of that has come together to make roster construction as challenging as it's ever been. And I do think it's going to be that much harder to build consistent winners. I wrote something about this, I guess it was back during tournament week, where it's, you have LSU, defending champion, not even make a regional. Vanderbilt, who's the number 1 overall seed, they didn't make a regional either. And it's going to be really challenging to go annually to be one of the top teams in the country. So if you're a fan of a team that maybe you were just good but not great, I think that's just part of the new reality now. If you can be good annually, you're kind of ahead of the game, because I think everyone else is going to have a lot of dips. It's going to be a roller coaster until things sort out, if they do, right? Because college sports is changing so much every year.
Mark, we'll get you out of here with this. We get 6 matchups today, and we also have one of those matchups have to maybe play a second game because of weather and how that's affected everything. Just give me your initial thoughts. We got about a minute left here. What are the matchups that are happening today in these regional finals, the ones that intrigue you the most?
Well, I think the whole Milwaukee story has been fascinating. They were the 4 seed in Auburn. Didn't have a great regular season. In fact, in April, I think they'd only won like 5 games all year. I mean, and then they get hot. They go to the conference tournament and they ambush Auburn and score 13 runs on one of the best pitching staffs in the country. Auburn came back. They started a game after 10 o'clock last night and won to force a game 7 today. That's truly fascinating to see if David can slay Goliath once again.
Mark, appreciate the time, brother. Keep up the tremendous work that you're doing. Enjoy Super Regional Weekend, and then after that, the College World Series. Thank you so much, brother. Can't wait to talk to you again.
You got it, man. Take care.
We got to take a time out. When we come back, we'll wrap up hour number 1 here in Jackson, Mississippi of RP3 and Meche.
This is RP3 and Meche, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is your home for the Houston Astros.
And the Astros stun the Mariners.
Hunter Brown, Yordan Alvarez, and the rest of the Astros are looking to get back to the postseason. You can listen to every pitch, hit, and thrilling victory of the Houston Astros.
Incredible!
As Robert Ford and Steve Sparks will be on the call. Tune in this season for live Astros baseball on Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Looking for your next firearm? Come visit Louisiana Gun Shop in Broussard. We've got financing options, 12 months same as cash, plus layaways up to 90 days. With a wide selection of new and used guns, we've got something for every budget, big or small. Have an old gun collecting dust? Trade it in or turn it into cash. Need parts? We've got the largest selection of AR-15 components in the area, from springs to grips and buttstocks. Explore our ever-changing used inventory online at LouisianaGunShop.com. Louisiana Gun Shop, your one-stop shop for firearms and more.
Everybody's talking about the big, beautiful bill, and it's game-changing for taxpayers. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. We've read the bill, and if you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and get it resolved. This new legislation could give you a chance to get things straight with the IRS. Whether it's getting caught up on unfiled returns or negotiating IRS debts, there are a lot of new deductions and opportunities in the big, beautiful bill, and the Bryson Law Firm knows how to use them strategically. We've been staying on top of the tax changes in the big, beautiful bill, and we're ready to help our clients take full advantage. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Bryson Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit BrysonLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Bryson Law Firm. LSP filing number LA2519079.
At Waterboys Water Well Services, we're more than just a quick fix. A handshake means more to us than a contract. From water treatment that protects your home and health to expert well drilling, pump installation, and maintenance, we've got your water covered. Cleaner, safer, better tasting water starts with trust and ends with Water Boys. Proudly serving Louisiana families with integrity and experience. Water Boys, high quality H2O products, 337-678-9955.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices.
To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles is the #1 rated sports station in Louisiana, according to our mamas.
Mama said that. Mama said that. My mama said that. My mama said.
Back to more of our mama's favorite sports station.
Oh, we only got a couple minutes here on hour #1 because I'm about to pass the baton off to James Meche back in the Beal and Bear Studios to handle hour #2. I do believe the folks here at the hotel are wanting us to leave because they've tried to enter the room 3 times, James, even though we got the late checkout for noon. So I'm going to have to pack up our stuff and go before maybe being thrown out. So
They said, time's a ticking. Get out.
And we've had 3 separate people just enter the room going, oh, and we're like, we have the late checkout. They're like, oh, we have the late checkout. Oh, we have the late checkout.
Oh, my apologies. Had no idea. Okay.
Time for you to leave, radio people. Outstanding. Oh, man. Good stuff coming up in hour #2, though. James is going to do a deeper dive on the Western Conference Finals, going 7 games with the Spurs winning that to set up a NBA Finals matchup with the New York Knicks, which happened back in 1999. A lot of parallels between both of those, a lot of connections to both of those, which is fascinating to me. We'll also play some Matt Deggs, Raging Cajuns baseball audio for you as well, and then James will be chopping it up with the illustrious one. That's right, the other illustrious one, Brett Chansey. We say that he's from Locked On Astros, but he has about 17 different jobs in addition to being a teacher. But we'll identify him as a man that can speak about the Houston Astros since he's the host of the Locked On Astros podcast. So there we go. James will be reunited again tomorrow inside the studios. I know you're going to be happy to hear that. But before you ask, did I bring you back anything from Starkville? The answer is no.
Oh,
Sorry.
darn. The expectation was just so high.
Oh, I know, buddy. I know. Well, that's going to do it for this special road trip edition of RP3 and Meche. I'm going to get on the road to come back home. James Meche is going to handle everything there in the studio for hour #2, and that's what's coming up next right here on ESPN 1037 Lafayette, 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana Sports Station.
This is your Chiropractic Expert Minute, brought to you by Dr. Quentin Briscoe, chiropractic physician.
Hello, I'm Dr. Quentin Briscoe. You may have heard me for Chiropractic Awareness Month. Today I want to share a quick tip to keep your spine and your whole body healthy. Everyday habits like sitting too long, poor posture, or even sleeping the wrong way can cause misalignments that lead to pain, stiffness, or fatigue. Chiropractic care doesn't just treat pain, it helps your body function at its best naturally. A chiropractic adjustment can improve mobility, reduce tension, and even boost overall wellness. Combine that with proper stretching, posture awareness, and a healthy lifestyle, and you're giving your body the support it needs to thrive. We are in network with the VA Community Care Network, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and Aetna.
To schedule an appointment with Briscoe Chiropractic, visit drqmb.com or call 337-534-0091. That's drqmb.com or 337-534-0091. Because your spine deserves expert care.
Looking for the perfect place to play golf in the heart of Louisiana? Look no further than Farm Alley Golf Club in Carencro. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just getting started, we've got a course for you. With lush fairways, challenging holes, and spectacular views, our 18-hole course offers a top-tier experience for golfers of all skill levels. Book your tee time at farmdalleygolfclub.com today, and don't forget, weekend rates include free range balls to help you warm up before you hit the course. Get out to Farm Alley Golf Club in Carencro, Louisiana. Your next golfing adventure is just a click away. Visit farmdalleygolfclub.com to book your tee time now. See you on the greens.
MeTV is America's #1 classic entertainment television network. And here's one of the reasons everybody loves MeTV.
Oh, it's a classic.
The great comedy lineup on weeknights.
This will be fun. Come on.
With Meche.
Loaded with snappy comebacks.
The Andy Griffith Show.
I was just funning with Barney.
And Everybody Loves Raymond.
Now we got a show.
Watch Meet TV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on Channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Live from Upper Lafayette, this is ESPN 1037 KLWB Karen Crow Lafayette, KLCJ-FM Oak Grove Lake Charles 1041, a Delta Media station.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Louisiana Raging Cajuns baseball team season came to an end in the Starkville Regional on Sunday. After losing 12-2 in their opening matchup on Friday, the Vermilion and White took down Lipscomb in Cincinnati before losing their final game of the season 19-5 to the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Louisiana Raging Cajuns senior golf standout Milan Pock-Eater's run at the NCAA Division I Men's Golf Championships came to an end on Sunday after he missed the cut for Monday's final round by 1 stroke. North Vermilion and LSUE graduate Tyson LeBlanc had a monster weekend for the Kansas Jayhawks. In the Lawrence Regional, LeBlanc went 2 for 4 from the plate on Sunday to help his team advance to the Super Regionals. The Houston Astros lost 2 out of 3 at home versus the Milwaukee Brewers this past weekend. They'll be back tonight to start a series at home versus Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates. First pitch from Dyken Park is scheduled for 7:10, and you can listen to the action on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. In the NBA playoffs, the finals are now set after the San Antonio Spurs won Game 6 and 7 against the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. Game 1 of the finals between the Spurs and Knicks will be on Wednesday. And Russell Henley won the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth, Texas on Sunday, edging out Eric Cole in a playoff. I'm James Meche, and this has been your 2-minute drill on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana Sports Station, your home for the LSU Tigers and Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. Dynamic duos are nothing new to Louisiana sports fans. Breeze and Colston, Burrow and Chase. And here in Acadiana, we have our very own dynamic duo.
You're beautiful.
It's the big, bald, bearded, and beautiful one, Raymond Parch III.
I'm sexy and I know it.
And the man with the best head of hair in sports talk radio in Louisiana and Mississippi, James Meche. Here is RP3 and Meche on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Welcome into hour number 2 of RP3 and Meche as you're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana sports station. Broadcasting live from the Beal and Abear studios here in Upper Lafayette. I'll be running point for this whole hour since RP3 is going now on the road with Kevin Foote to come back to Lafayette. Like we were saying at the end of hour number 1, they're currently in Jackson, Mississippi, but they're getting out of their hotel right now. So it's just going to be me for the final hour. We do have one guest that's going to be in this hour, but it won't be until about 12:30 or so when we talk Houston Astros with Brett Chansey, host of the Locked On Astros podcast, as well as about a bajillion other entities that he's with other than teaching the youth over there in H-Town. Talk about how they lost 2 out of 3 to the Milwaukee Brewers this past weekend at home. Felt like it very easily could have been a sweep, and it feels like that's something that you could easily say, taking away a couple plays here and there that could have gone in your team's favor, could have completely changed things, which is true, but like really watching it back on Friday, they had them on the ropes, and then all of a sudden they just fell apart in the last couple of innings, and they just squandered opportunity after opportunity. So we'll talk Astros with Brett Chansey at about 12:30 or so. We'll hear from Matt Deggs and company after the Louisiana Raging Cajuns ended up losing in the Starkville Regional, which was why Kevin and RP3 are out of studio. They were there for the past weekend to cover all of the games over there. But to start off hour number 2 in a few minutes, Want to talk a little bit of NBA. Game 7, even Game 6 also went down between the San Antonio Spurs and the OKC Thunder. Spurs end up getting the win. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes. I'll give more of a breakdown on that. But for right now, we do have someone on the ESPN hotline. It's our guy, Kyle. Kyle wants to talk football in general, a little bit of NFL. So what you got, Kyle?
Well, my man, you know what today is, right?
It's Monday.
It is Monday,
June. It's Monday.
June the 1st.
Yeah. Post June 1st with a lot of moves.
That means it's time to start Junesing for some football. Get it? Junesing for football. Oh, come on, man. All right.
It was all right. It was all right. What you got?
No, it was great. That was great. Okay, you got it takes two brains to function at that high of a level, but we'll get there eventually. You know, let me try this. A great philosopher once told me, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And this season, right now, as I think about it, life as a Saints fan is like looking at a big, giant box of chocolates right now, and you can't eat them. You can't start to touch them until at least preseason. So for all you people out there that don't like preseason, I'm going to tell you straight up right now, when you've been in a drought, a dry spell, in the desert dying for a drop of water, and you have an avalanche, a gusher of receivers and tight ends and running backs and a brand new young little quarterback with another good backup that you got stole. We've been stealing everybody else's first-round picks, but I think we've been getting them for basically nothing. And now we're starting to accumulate some talent on this team, and I just feel like this team is about to explode, okay? For the first time, they've actually gone out, the front office has gone out and done their job this season, this off season. And I am just, I got to tell you, I'm ecstatic. I don't know what them box of chocolate is going to taste like, but I know it can't be any worse than that stuff I've been tasting the last 5 years.
I mean, there's definitely a lot more opportunism or excitement, I guess you could say. I'm trying to find a word for that, but there's a lot more excitement going into the season for sure. I like the fact that there is quite a bit of competition in that wide receiver room. Even though I'm still a fan of Jalen Polk, and I think that he easily could carve a role in that room and in this offense, still the fact that they bring in a lot of competition towards it really is going to emphasize at the point of we need to make sure, and saying as the Saints are trying to make sure that they have as many guys that are going to be quality and actually can help make sure that Tyler Shuck takes that next step forward and avoids that quote-unquote sophomore slump that we see from so many players on so many teams. There's no doubt about that.
Well, I'm going to tell you straight up right now. Before the season started last year, I had the exact opposite feeling staring me in the face every day. It was like having to pick up a 300-pound weight to get on my shoulders and walk around with it all day long. If I ever had a thought about the Saints, I could feel that 300-pound weight on my back all day long. And now it's like, wait up, hold on. Now I'm in luxury. I'm in a G6 Gulfstream, and I'm fixing to be flown out, with champagne and caviar. And it's all right there. And I just got to finish getting through the checkout and go have my seat on the G6 Gulfstream. And we fixing to fly out up to 40,000 feet. And I'm going to be riding on somebody else's poofy cloud for the first time in at least 5 years. I got to tell you, I love it. As a fan, I cannot wait.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm Junesing. Okay, I am definitely Junesing the Saints football this season with a smile on my face. Glory. Hallelujah. Y'all have a good day.
Appreciate it, Kyle. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, there's definitely a lot more excitement, like I said, going into the season. It feels like they should be able to take this next step forward. I still feel like they can. I'm just not ready to, at this moment in time, as we hit June 1st, when the season starts in September, and even quite a few days into September until we actually start to see them play real football and have all the starters go out there and the records actually count. I'm not ready to say that they are going to go all the way to the Super Bowl like Kyle is saying, but I definitely expect them to take a step forward, or at least multiple steps forward as well. So 2026 feels like this should be a season where things start to turn around for the black and gold. Like I said earlier, I wanted to talk about Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals that went down on Saturday. I didn't get to watch all of it because I was going back on the road to come home from Houston from my Yogurt U tournament. I got to see a good bit of the first half and just a tad of the second half, but from everything that I saw, you could just tell that this was the Spurs to win. When I look at it from OKC side, because OKC obviously ended up losing. They lost 111-103 in Game 7 on their home floor. So they lost Game 7 by 8. So it sets up the Spurs versus Knicks matchup. My thing going into it, because I said on Friday's show that Shea was going to need to make sure that he had a stellar performance to give OKC a chance. And we also were trying to figure out, was J-Dub going to play? Because you could obviously tell he had been hindered. This whole playoff run for OKC felt like it was scuffed in a sense, mainly for just J-Dub in a sense. I mean, they went to the Western Conference Finals, so I can't say that it was an utter, just total scuffed run. But the fact that he just basically wasn't there for them for a vast majority, it just felt like you almost had to cross him out overall. And you had to rely on other people. And luckily, guys like Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hardenstein and Jared McCain, as well as others, even the other Jalen Williams, because remember, they have two of them. One comes off the bench, the other one's more of a front court player. But the star J-Dub, with him not being there, it was just kind of an adjustment throughout this playoff run. And even when they said on Friday that he wasn't going to suit up for Saturday's game, I still thought, okay, this mitigates the idea of, well, if he only plays 10 to 15 minutes and he basically has a similar output in production like he did in Thursday's Game 6 on the road, you could give those minutes to someone else who's kind of already been in the groove of things, maybe put Jared McCain back out there. I thought that was a solid strat. I thought they would do that again. I thought they would go back to Jared and have him have that type of production, give him another start. He looked good in that Game 6. But then Game 7, they decided instead of McCain, they actually went with Case and Wallace. Everyone else was still the same. Chet and Hartenstein playing in the front court. Shea, of course, being at the number one at the point guard. And then you also had Lou Dort, who is their, I guess you could say, enforcer. But not having J-Dub, you were going to need Shea to step up, and you were still going to need Chet. If Chet could do something, that was the big thing. If Chet could just do something in this series, you had to feel good about the Thunder's chances. Because he did nothing. And we know that this has been the case this whole series and this whole season, and really even going back to their younger days when they first were going against each other. We know that Wembanyama is taking this series personal in this rivalry, I guess you could say. But really, it's just been utterly dominated by Wembanyama since they got into the league. And Chet just shrunk in this whole moment. And you needed him to have a good game. And he did nothing. He put up 4 points. He took 2 shots. Again, J-Dub was out. Someone's got to step up. And I think overall, as a collective group, you still got good production. But when you're either number 2, you're 2A, 2B best player between Chet and J-Dub, when one of them's out, the other one's got to step up. The other one absolutely has to, especially in a Game 7 scenario, to punch your ticket to the finals and your other star player is out. You got to step up. He got nowhere close to that. He shrunk in the biggest moment, win or go home, on their home floor, too. He put up 4 points, took 2 shots, had 4 rebounds, no assists, turned the ball over twice. He had 2 blocks, but, like, again, overall, he was a non-factor in this game. I remember looking at this throughout this whole series. They knew, the Thunder coaching staff knew that Chet couldn't guard Wembanyama, because the few times that he had, it was barbecue chicken, as Shaq would say. But oftentimes, to make sure that he wouldn't get switched on to him, they basically put him in the corner on defense. Like they said, just go guard the corner player. Don't care. Just make sure that you're not in the paint. I would understand that if there is a defensive liability in the front court or even maybe in a wing player. But again, Chet is one of their bigs. He's 7'1". He's supposed to be a rim protector and be able to get rebounds. And they had to take him out. They had to say, do not be in the paint. Whatever you do not be in the paint. And they told him to kick rocks, go in the corner. One of their 7'1" players that's supposed to get rebounds and block shots and alter shots on defense. They told him, don't do that. Because he was that bad this whole series. I don't want this to be a dog on Chet session for the next, for basically this whole segment. But again, when Wallace gives you a solid 17, Hartenstein could have been a little bit more productive, sure, but like overall, like it's not like he had the big time disappointing performance. Lou Dort didn't really do anything, but he hasn't done a whole lot this series. I love the spark that Jalen Williams had off the bench. And Jared McCain did fine. Didn't shoot the greatest from 3-point range, but overall had a fine game. Alex Caruso, for what was needed from him, and specifically this series, especially to make up for Chet's shortcomings, he also didn't have the greatest game. But once again, I mean, for as many good games that he had this series against San Antonio, expecting him to put up like another 20-plus point performance coming off the bench, that's just not realistic. So the fact that he went 3 for 14 on Saturday, had 12 points, sure. And, I mean, this was a rough and tumbling series altogether. I mean, you could, quote-unquote, call out dirty plays and call out dirty fouls by guys like Caruso, but, I mean, overall, in this series, it was pretty back and forth between the two of them. I mean, neither team, and really none of these players were just absolute angels. I mean, let's keep it a buck here. But really the big thing was Shea stepped up when he needed to. Like overall in the series, he shot under 40%, but on Saturday, he balled out. He was awesome to watch. Like he hit some clutch shots and some really tough shots that I thought, even though he's a star player, one of the best players in this league, I still thought that some of the shots that he had hit were utterly ridiculous. And to me, didn't really have much business taking. Because there was a couple of times where he took some deep twos, some mid-range shots. And I'm thinking, and he's rising up. And I'm like, he is just not in a good position whatsoever to be taking that shot. This is going to be an awkward one. So this should clank off the rim. And then he swishes it. And I'm like, okay, maybe one time, sure. But he did that repeatedly over the night. And he kept OKC in the game. But he just didn't get enough from his supporting cast. And when you look at it from San Antonio's side, they always had that throughout this series. Like, Wemby doesn't have to put up 40 for them to need to win. He can put up about 20, take a somewhat respectable amount of shots without having to put up the most. Like, he doesn't have to take 25 shots to be effective as he is because he's so efficient inside the paint. Depends on the night if he's on from the 3-point range, but he's always there defensively. So the fact that he went nearly 50% from the floor, had a respectable 22 points, went 3 for 5 from 3, so he was hitting his shots from behind the arc on Saturday as well. didn't dominate the boards, but still put up good numbers overall. It was well-rounded numbers from Victor. But it was the fact that you had Champagne step up. Like, Champagne had been good this series and has been good this playoff run. But the fact that he specifically also put up 20 in a winner-go-home game. Fox actually didn't go to the bathroom. Like, he actually did fine. So that was good. Vassell did fine. Stephon Castle only turned the ball over 6 times, which I say that as a joke and not because if you go back to the first 2 games, he had 20 turnovers between those 2. So it was an improvement there. But once again, I mean, for games 3 through 6, he was much better. But then he started to kind of revert back to his old self, turn the ball over a bunch of times again. But it wasn't bad enough because you even look at the plus minus. He actually was in the plus. He was +1. And then, of course, Dylan Harper didn't shoot a whole lot, but for what he did, he was still productive, and you got good production from guys. And also, shout out Luke Cornett for that chase down block on Hartenstein. That was awesome. I mean, who would have thought? When you see that type of play, when one of your role players coming off the bench makes that type of play when you least expect it, and this was also in crunch time. This was in the 4th quarter. When they make play, when you have role players like that make plays like that, that's the difference, and that's how you know that the game is in that team's favor. That's how you know. And that was just awesome to see, and that was just the clear sign of saying, okay, at this point, San Antonio's winning this game. And they absolutely did so. Held them back the last couple of minutes and ended up winning 111-103 to punch their ticket to the NBA Finals. We'll now have game 1 between them and the Knicks on Wednesday. Because San Antonio was the higher seed, they will be the home team, so they will have more home games for them. That's enough about the NBA. We're going to go ahead and take a timeout. When we come back, we'll hear from Coach Deggs as the Louisiana Raging Cajuns baseball season comes to an end in the Starkville Regional. We'll hear from them and a couple players after this. You're listening to RP3 and Meche.
This is RP3 and Meche live on ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Bluebell Ice Cream has been making the best ice cream in the country for more than 100 years and has now unveiled a new summer flavor called Black Raspberry Fudge. That's ice cream featuring a sweet, tart black raspberry base blended with dark chocolate chunks and a rich fudge swirl. It's currently available in half-gallon and pint sizes at most retailers, but only for a limited time. You can find Black Raspberry Fudge along with all of your Bluebell ice cream favorites at your local grocery store, so make sure to pick up a pint or 2 of Bluebell ice cream today.
Do you need more of the fellas here on Southwest Louisiana's sports station? Of course you do. So go make sure and subscribe to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles YouTube channel at ESPN_SWLA. Don't forget to turn that bell on so you get notifications for new episodes of 4 Tire Change podcast, where Dawson Iserlo talks all things NASCAR, or Cleats and Sneaks with James Meche. Get yourself more of Southwest Louisiana's sports station at ESPN_SWLA on YouTube.
Ready to transform your backyard into the summer paradise you've always dreamed of? With Duplessis Builders custom gunite pool packages, we make it simple to own a stunning, long-lasting, in-ground pool built just for you. Choose from classic designs, all customizable to fit your space, style, and budget. Our pools come with quality finishes, energy-efficient equipment, beautiful lighting, and professional installation from excavation to decking, so you can dive in before the next heat wave hits. Don't just dream it, build it. Visit DuplessisBuilders.net.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry.
No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices.
To learn more, visit GoVote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
Your Honor, I would like to introduce exhibit number 1.
MeTV is America's #1 classic television network.
There can only be one number 1, me.
MeTV features over 60 of the greatest classic TV series each week.
Go with the wind.
winner. Enjoy dramas, comedies, westerns, sci-fi, and more.
You just watch me.
Watch Me TV Acadiana on KLWB over the air on channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Me TV is memorable entertainment television.
Know someone with a drinking or drug problem? Learn how to get sober after we share these stories.
I was 35 with 2 beautiful children when my life and addiction started to spiral out of control. After my divorce, I went into a depression cycle and started drinking more often and using prescription drugs. After my second DWI and arrest, my ex-husband threatened to take our children away from me.
I was 17 when I became addicted to heroin and meth. I thought I could quit on my own, but I couldn't. It hit me when I was arrested.
Get sober now. Your private insurance may cover costs and we'll get you here. It's simple. Just call Elite Rehab Placement right now. Please, don't wait. Your life matters to us. 800-819-8313. 800-819-8313. 800-819-8313. That's 800-819-8313.
One is known far and wide for his luscious head of hair.
We just wash the hair. You know, I work on my hair a long time.
The other wishes he still had his. Back to more RP3 and Meche.
There's no other team, there's no other place that I would rather be than coaching these boys right here. And just thankful to have had the opportunity to be a part of this team. And for me, it's, borrow a phrase from Hannah Montana, it's all about the climb for me. And it always has been. It's always about the scrap. It's never about the outcome or the final destination. And we had a bunch of scrappers, and they're hard to let go of. Hard to let go of. We got dumped on our butt a year ago coming off 3 straight regionals, and it hurt. It was personal. It hurt. And just the right collection of guys, the right dudes at the right spot at the right time showed up, and they captured a lot of hearts and minds. And it's always bigger than baseball. It's about never quitting. You're always in a fight. And tip the cap to Mississippi State. That is a team, in my 31 years, I tell you right now, they can go win that whole thing. And I'll be honest, I'll be pulling for them because I watch them, and they do it the right way, and they play the game the right way. And if we're going to go down, they had to kill us, and they did. They did. But
That was Louisiana Raging Cajun skipper Matt Deggs after last night's loss to Mississippi State when they fell 19-5 to those Bulldogs. And I mean, shout out to him for doing a Hannah Montana reference. We do bingo cards here on this station. That was not on my bingo card. But still, on a more serious note, Coach Deggs on a lot of great points. I thought the fact that, again, getting to 40 wins on this season was still great to see, even with the adversity that they had gone through, and even in that kind of middle of the season lull that they had gone on where you're like, ooh, is this season, are they even going to be able to get to a regional themselves after even like having a good start? But again, they turned it around. They started to figure things out. The rotation on the pitching staff started to figure things out. The offense started to get it together, and you saw them turn around and make that run in the Sun Belt tournament before punching their ticket to the regionals. And even when they had their back against the wall there, they still won 2 games and climbed back into it, got out of the loser's bracket, and found their way to play Mississippi State to hopefully even get past them to get to a super regional. But look, with how much they had played, because we've harped on this point plenty of times, but they have played about 4 or 5 more games than anybody else in the country. And they have played a lot of baseball over these last 2 weeks as well. So, I mean, this was a rough stretch for them, and yet they still, to me, met expectations. I thought that was phenomenal to see. You also had some vets who stepped up in a big-time way. Lee Amity in the batting lineup, as well as Andrew Herman. I mean, those guys battled out and just absolutely had warrior spirits. We also heard from them post-game, and they were asked, since the season's come to a close and they were the vets on the team, and they're going to be moving on from the Cajuns to try and continue their baseball career beyond college. But this is what the two players had to say about what they're going to remember about this team.
The grit and the fight. We've worked hard since August, never given up, always giving each other 110%. That's really what kind of instilled in us for the last 6 weeks. As Coach Stegg said, we got knocked on our butts, but found a way to not do it for ourselves, but do it for the guy to the left and the right of us.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I remember most about this team is just the brotherhood. Just so fun to be around. I trust all these dudes with my life. I mean, win or loss, like, I'm able to live with it. Like, I'll have that for the rest of my life. I mean, 20 years from now, I'm probably not going to remember our stats and our batting averages, how many home runs and stuff like that. I'm just going to remember the brotherhood. Like, that's the thing.
And not only that, but as you can tell with these guys for how long they stayed in a Cajuns uniform, that even with the down year that they had last year, they easily could have moved on and gone elsewhere. But they decided to stay. And for them, it was about the culture. And Coach Deggs had kind of harped on that point post-game as well.
Well, for me, culture is everything. And culture is just nothing more than leadership and action on a daily basis. What kind of leaders do you have? And do they lead from the front? Do they get in the ditch? Do they get their hands dirty? Do they do it first and then teach you so that you can have ownership? And we do that. We train alpha leaders, and it is not easy to play Cajun baseball. It's demanding. And those dudes have been up at 4 a.m. over 50 times this year. And they've been in the classroom 100 times. And they're sick of hearing me talk. And we grind and we tax them and we push, but we love them at the same time. And the more you sweat, in preparation, the less you bleed in battle. And these dudes are sold out to that. They will do absolutely whatever it takes, and they truly believe they're going to win. And that, to me, is more important than talent is going to take you a long way, but when you can mix talent with...
And overall, again, 40 wins on the season. Definitely nothing to sneeze at. I think they met expectations. Not only being in this regional, putting themselves in position in the championship, quote-unquote, series to try and play Mississippi State, climbing themselves out of the losers bracket to try and get into the super regionals, giving themselves a chance there after putting their back against the wall so many times. Absolutely commendable. I think this was a success for the season. I think they met the expectation. And even Coach Deggs afterwards just talked about how thankful he was for this team and this journey, because this was quite a good one to see for this 2026 version of the Cajuns.
There's no other team, there's no other place that I would rather be than coaching these boys right here. And just thankful to have had the opportunity to be a part of this team. And for me, it's, borrow a phrase from Hannah Montana, that's all about the climb.
We're going to go ahead and take a timeout. When we come back, we'll talk Houston Astros with our guy, Brett Chansey, host of the Locked On Astros podcast. That's coming up next. You're listening to RP3 and Meche.
This is RP3 and Meche, live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Whether you're needing to get yourself a new or used handgun to help protect your family, or get yourself a new rifle or shotgun for hunting season, or maybe you're just running low on ammo, the place to go, of course, is our friends at Louisiana Gun Shop, located at 2927 Highway 90 East in Broussard. They're open Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. until 6 o'clock in the evening, and because they're a local business, they pride themselves on teaming up with a local finance company to help you with a layaway program. In addition to that, they're also offering classes. That's right. A concealed carry refresher class is being offered on May the 23rd. This is only for people who have to renew their license. And they're also going to be offering a full concealed carry class on June 27th. That's Louisiana Gun Shop, located at 2927 Highway 90 East in Broussard. Go see them today.
This game isn't fun. This game is a war.
It's time for the 2-minute drill.
Hurry it up, hurry it up, hurry it up.
Powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Get in here, we gotta go fast now.
The Louisiana Raging Cajuns baseball team season came to an end in the Starkville Regional on Sunday. After losing 12-2 in their opening matchup on Friday, the Vermilion and White took down Lipscomb in Cincinnati before losing their final game of the season 19-5 to the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Louisiana Raging Cajuns senior golf standout Milan Pock-Eater's run at the NCAA Division I Men's Golf Championships came to an end on Sunday after he missed the cut for Monday's final round by 1 stroke. North Vermilion and LSUE graduate Tyson LeBlanc had a monster weekend for the Kansas Jayhawks. In the Lawrence Regional, LeBlanc went 2 for 4 from the plate on Sunday to help his team advance to the Super Regionals. The Houston Astros lost 2 out of 3 at home versus the Milwaukee Brewers this past weekend. They'll be back tonight to start a series at home versus Paul Skeens and the Pittsburgh Pirates. First pitch from Dyken Park is scheduled for 7:10, and you can listen to the action on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles. In the NBA playoffs, the finals are now set after the San Antonio Spurs won Game 6 and 7 against the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder. Game 1 of the finals between the Spurs and Knicks will be on Wednesday. And Russell Henley won the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth, Texas on Sunday, edging out Eric Cole in a playoff. I'm James Meche, and this has been your 2-minute drill on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana Sports Station, your home for the LSU Tigers and Houston Astros.
The 2-minute drill has been powered by B1 Bank. Visit b1bank.com to find a location near you. ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles is the proud winner of 4 2026 LAB Prestige Awards, including Best Use of Digital Media, Foot's Friday Fury, Best Live On-Site Remote for our Super Bowl Radio Road coverage, Best Promotion for our No Shave November initiative, and Radio Young Professional of the Year for Dawson Iserloh. We're proud of being Southwest Louisiana's sports station and are humbled to be recognized by the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters.
Did you know you can get great tasting Clear Springs artesian water delivered to your office or your doorstep at home? Clear Springs is 100% local with their own bottling facility at the world-famous Kentwood Aquifer, no chemicals added. Just pure Kentwood, Louisiana artesian water. Clear Springs Water offers delivery of 5 or 3 gallon water service with a hot and cold temperature water cooler or even single-serve bottles delivered to your home or office. Easy to reach, clearsprings.net, then contact us tab or 337-519-3563.
I've been driving trucks for a long time. Safety is my #1 priority. I know that my truck has huge blind spots. That's why I remember to check my mirrors often for smaller vehicles. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're behind the wheel, try to avoid lingering in those blind spots. It can be dangerous. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Hi, I'm Nancy Landry. No matter what part of our great state you call home, Louisiana's elections are an important part of who we are. In 2026, closed party primaries will change how some of those elections happen, so you'll want to know what to do. Keeping your registration current ensures you'll get the right party-based ballot. Remember, this change only applies to certain offices.
To learn more, visit govote.com or download the GoVote app.
Paid for by the Louisiana Secretary of State's office.
Oh, look who's here. Everybody Loves Raymond is on MeTV.
Who told you that?
Raymond! America's #1 classic TV network.
Nothing even comes close.
Enjoy 2 back-to-back episodes every weeknight.
We're doing it twice.
Watch Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah, it's all about you, Raymond.
Weeknights starting at 8 on MeTV.
Watch MeTV Acadiana on KLWB, over the air on channel 50.1. Check your local cable listings for the channel in your area.
Do you know a veteran in need? Nation's Finest,
through the VA's Supportive Services for Veteran Families program, helps veterans and their families struggling with rent, employment, and other housing-related costs. Today, Nation's Finest operates more than 30 locations in California, Arizona, and Nevada, helping thousands of veterans every year. Visit nationsfinest.org or call 1-833-468-9676. That's 1-833-468-9676.
You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station. Your home for the Houston Astros.
And to talk about those Houston Astros, we head out to the ESPN hotline to bring on our second and final guest of today's edition of the show. Of course, it's our guy, H-Town Wheelhouse, or if you want to go by his government name, it's Brett Chansey, the host of the Locked On Astros podcast, as well as the Back to the Bullpen podcast, and about 70 billion other podcasts and entities. Brett, how goes it on this Monday, my man?
You know, it's going good. We got an off day. I actually don't feel too bad about the series loss, which is odd. And 2026, man, it's summertime. I got no complaints. You know, we got Paul Skeens and the Pirates coming to town, so why don't we take on another great pitcher, right?
Exactly. I mean, why not? Well, let's start off with the summer thing before we really get into the Astros part. Of course, a lot of people at this point know that you are a teacher over there in the Houston area. I guess, how was the year, and how does it feel to actually be off for the summer now and have more free time?
Oh man, it's nice. You know, it is something that I think as an educator, I've been doing this for a while now. You definitely learn to appreciate it more and more each year. So it's good to get a rest. It's good to recharge your batteries, and that way you come in with a new group of students and they get to have a fresh, mister or coach or whoever you are. And I know the parents and the people in the community appreciate that. So I definitely don't take it for granted. I try to get as much extra stuff I can get done with my podcast with Locked On Astros and Back to the Bullpen now. But also make sure I spend time with family. We're going on a senior cruise here in a couple weeks, so we're pretty excited about that for my son and my niece. They both graduated. She's out of state, and so we're taking the whole family on a cruise. It'll be fun.
That's exciting. I'm pretty excited for y'all as well. You had mentioned how even though the Astros lost 2 out of 3 to the Brewers at home this weekend, you weren't necessarily disappointed. Can you go further on that point? Because it felt like there were some really big missed opportunities, especially on Friday when they lost in extra innings.
Yeah, now, I was there. I witnessed that in person, so that was definitely unfortunate. But I like what I'm seeing out of Tatsuya Imai. I like what I'm seeing out of our other pitchers, out of our pitching staff as a whole. The offense. I mean, I'm just not going to be disappointed when they don't perform. It's who they've been. They've been consistently inconsistent all year. And until they put together a 2 or 3 week run where they're, just hitting the cover off the ball, this is kind of what you expect. But, I mean, they were in it Friday. They could have won Sunday. They had opportunities and they did miss them. But you have Jeremy Pena, who's come back strong. Jake Myers, we know doesn't have an arm, but he's come back hitting decently. I mean, Trammell gets called up, and he's a contributor on the team. Yordan Alvarez, continues to do Yordan Alvarez things. And so there's a lot of positives in spite of the negatives. But this is one of those seasons where I'm going to hope for the best and sometimes expect the worst, and I'm okay with that for 26.
Going further into Friday's loss, I am just always baffled at the point when there's bases loaded, there's 1 or fewer outs, and you still can't put up a run. Like, I find that crazy. And not only going further into that, it was the fact that Taylor Trammell, like you had mentioned, he had stepped up. He only had the 1 hit at that point in time, but then they bring in Bryce Matthews to pinch it. And this was his first at-bat, and you put him in, had no experience in that game, and all of a sudden you're like, you could hit the walk-off hit for us and win us the game. How about you go out there, Bryce? That just feels like just not a great time and place to bring in somebody else to pinch it, unless you just know, because I know you know more baseball than I do. So do you have an explanation on why that would have been the case?
No, I mean, that was definitely one of the more confusing moves by Joe Espada, and there are moves like that because, look, Jeremy Pena reaches on a throwing error. Okay, now if you go back to this to what happened, they actually so Gary Sanchez pops out, right? Well, Nick Allen allowed the ball to fall, so his guy gets on base. They put in Joey Ortiz. Because they put in Joey Ortiz, right, to run, he was the guy that basically, creates that error in that inning. So the Astros have an opportunity. Pena reaches on the throwing error. Jake Meyer singles. Nick Allen gets a sacrifice bunt. So you've got guys on the bases. Bases are juiced. And then you have Christian Vasquez come in, which I agreed with him coming in. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he walks. Okay, but yeah, Bryce Matthews, I don't know why you put him in that situation. I mean, Trammell was only 1 for 4, but yeah, Matthews is not the guy. Now, Pena came in, I believe, later. Came in the 10th. That's the spot I would have put Jeremy Pena in. Jeremy Pena coming in, of course, Trammell's in left field, so I think the reason why they didn't put Pena in is because they weren't going to put Pena out in the outfield. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's probably why Joe would probably say he didn't have anybody else on the bench. So that's probably why that situation came about, but it definitely wasn't the most ideal. In that game, they were 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. They did leave 8 on base, and that was a big problem.
And I mean that's basically been the case for the Astros for quite a while now. Is they just can't drive runs in, no matter the case, and even in an exacerbated situation where you got bases loaded, 1 out, and all you need is just the ball to go over the infield, and you win the ball game. And they still couldn't do it.
I mean, look, in baseball, the name of the game is creating opportunities. But when you create those opportunities, you have to finish the job, and that's where they have been. They've been lacking, and I just think this ball club, for whatever reason, they have a hard time scoring runs. Now, they've been scoring runs total more lately, because, I mean, we've seen the production, we've seen the runs scored and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, they've got to do a better job. I mean, if they want to be serious contenders and go into the playoffs and do something, then they actually need to do that. They've got to learn to finish the job.
I think I've asked you this before, but it always just baffles me because I'm so used to MLB baseball being series starts Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then maybe you do a split 2-game series, or maybe the series starts on a Thursday, but usually the Thursday is where it would be off. The fact that they're off on a Monday today, it always gets to me. It always gets to me.
Yeah, I know that with their collective bargaining agreement, I know they have it contracted in there, like, they have so many off days. And I just think the way the schedule's set up, that just may be where the chips fall, as far as like travel days, teams coming in. Pittsburgh, I believe Pittsburgh played yesterday, so I don't believe they had an off day. But yeah, whoever makes the schedule, I definitely don't envy them. Because it does seem a little bit disarray, but they definitely have a lot more off days than they used to.
And look, with this series versus the Pirates that starts tomorrow, these are some pretty fun, interesting pitching matchups, especially on Wednesday. We get to see former LSU Tiger Paul Skeens take the mound over there in Houston, but Houston starting pitcher, our guy Spencer Spaghetti's going to be out there as well. So we got a Louisiana matchup pretty much on Wednesday. This is going to be fun.
Exactly. And you got one guy in the Astros uniform who I think for the first time is legitimately putting himself in the, as one of the front runners for the American League Cy Young early on. Of course, I know there's a lot of season left. There's a whole second half. And so it's not a guarantee. But at this point, if you were to take, the top 5 in the Cy Young, Spencer Arrighetti's at least number 3 through 5 because of what he's done. I mean, even Soriano for the Angels started off, he was like 6-1 or 4-1 or something. He's now 6-4. He's lost several games in a row. And Arrighetti, he just keeps trucking, man. The guy, he not only that, he's taken a leadership role in the clubhouse. He's talked to the guys. He's motivated them. He's talked them up in the media. So he has taken the mantle of leader from the rotation with the absence of Hunter Brown, and I think that's a huge step in the right direction and a great thing for the Astros long-term with this young pitcher.
And as you bring up Hunter Brown, we'll end it off with this. Looking at the latest with the injured guys, whether you're looking at Javier, Brown, Hader, or even Altuve, overall it feels like we're getting some pretty positive updates.
Yeah, definitely. Hader, I believe, is supposed to be back Tuesday, from what I understand. I don't know if that's a hard line return date, but yeah, it says Hader could return during the series, which starts Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So he'll be back hopefully versus the Pirates, like you said. I mean, Altuve is not too far behind. We definitely need his bat in the lineup, and maybe he comes back rejuvenated. But having all these guys back healthy and a more complete squad, it definitely makes you a tougher opponent. And I know the American League is not the best this year, but at some point you're going to have to start winning more than you lose. And you just got to take that old approach that A.J. Hinch used to preach, one game at a time, one series at a time.
Brett, we appreciate you coming on. Keep up the tremendous work you're doing over there, covering the Houston Astros over there in H-Town, and we'll get you back on next week. All right, bud?
Yes, sir. Thank y'all so much. Don't just check out Locked On Astros. Make sure y'all check on Back to the Bullpen. It's on the Locked On MLB channel under podcast. Look up Back to the Bullpen. You'll find myself and Mike Stanton, 3-time World Series champion. We talk all baseball every day, the whole league. So y'all stop by and say hi.
We're going to go ahead and take a timeout. When we come back, we'll wrap up this edition of RP3 Meche. A big-time blockbuster trade went down during this hour. I'll let you know about it after this.
This is RP3 and Meche live on ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana's sports station.
Here at ESPN 103.7 Lafayette and 104.1 Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana sports station. We know you can't get enough sports in your life, so go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, ESPN Southwest Louisiana, and turn that bell on so you get notifications when we post our new content. Like our podcasts such as 4 Tire Change and Cleats and Sneaks. We've also got original shorts that's also LAB award-winning in Foot's Friday Fury. And now we stream all of our local shows on our YouTube channel. So go and subscribe to ESPN Southwest Louisiana on YouTube.
Attention first responders, police officers, firefighters, military and former military personnel. If you have an acre or more of grass to cut, Skag Zero-Turn Mowers would like to thank you by offering you a special discount with their Simply the Brave First Responders program. Save big money on the industry's top-rated zero-turn mower at Nolan's Lawnmower in Carencro. Nolan's can offer well-qualified buyers 0% financing for 48 months. Come by Nolan's Lawnmower at 3547 Northwest Evangeline Thruway and check out the full line of Skag Zero-Turn Lawnmowers.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Bryson Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Bryson Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Bryson Law Firm. Our headquarters are in Lafayette, and we have offices statewide. Or visit BrysonLawFirm.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Bryson Law Firm. LSBA filing number LA2518447.
At Waterboys Water Well Services, we're more than just a quick fix. A handshake means more to us than a contract. From water treatment that protects your home and health to expert well drilling, pump installation, and maintenance, we've got your water covered. Cleaner, safer, better tasting water starts with trust and ends with Waterboys. Proudly serving Louisiana families with integrity and experience. Waterboys, high quality H2O products, 337-678-9955.
Tax season doesn't have to be stressful. Not with Black & Gold Tax Service in your corner. Conveniently located on Main Street in Broussard, we offer in-office appointments and virtual consultations. You can upload your documents to our secured portal, and we offer secure digital drop-offs. Members of the Better Business Bureau, we proudly serve South Louisiana and all 50 states with integrity, expertise, and personalized care. Visit blackandgoldtax.com and let Black & Gold Tax Service make taxes easy. Black & Gold Tax Service, where accuracy meets Acadiana pride.
You're listening to ESPN 1037 Lafayette and 1041 Lake Charles. Your home for the best local sports talk in Southwest Louisiana.
I teased that there was a big trade that happened just a handful of minutes ago, probably about 30, 40 minutes ago, that went down in the NFL. It's huge. It's seismic. It's insane. The Los Angeles Rams are trading for Myles Garrett. That's right. The Cleveland Browns are trading with Los Angeles, sending arguably the best player in the league, already really the best player on the defensive side. Very good chance, depending on who you talk to. A lot of people would say that he's definitely in the realm of being the best player overall in the league right now, especially after signing that massive contract with Cleveland just last offseason. They trade him to the Rams, and the Rams are giving up their star edge rusher in Jared Verse. So really switching positions, switching players, kind of like what the Rams did with the Jared Goff, Matt Stafford deal. But now this time, Garrett's headed to LA. Verse is headed to Cleveland. Cleveland will also be getting a 2027 first-round pick and more draft compensation. More on that later on. We'll talk about more about this on tomorrow's edition of RP3 and Meche once RP3 is back in studio. I want to thank all two of our guests for coming on, both Mark Etheridge of D1 Baseball and our guy Brett Chansey of the Locked On Astros podcast. Looking one last time for the poll question of the day. Did the Cajuns beat your expectations in the Starkville Regional? Everyone has said yes, including myself and RP3. So I'm glad we are all in agreement. I think we can all safely say yes. The fact that you even got this far, especially when your back was against the wall after a slow start, you still came back as you always do, and they gave themselves a chance. Couldn't get it done, but still, the fact that they got to this point was impressive in and of itself, and they met our expectations. That's going to do it for this edition of RP3 Meche. We'll be back tomorrow from 11 to 1. But up next, the lowdown with D-Lo. Looking for an eye expert? Well, visit Acadiana Optics in Broussard, locally owned, founded, and operated by Broussard native Dr. Lindsay Dugas. From comprehensive eye exams for glasses and contacts to diabetic exams, pediatric